Another day, another rejection. So make sure you love it because it's not easy in terms of how they make you feel. You know, you may think you're right for something and you killed it, you smashed it in the room, but they didn't pick you over the smallest detail, and you have to be okay with that.
Welcome back to Inside the Audition podcast, the podcast that helps actors master the art and science of auditions so that you can stand out for all the right reasons and none of the wrong reasons and book your next lead role. I'm your host, Joey Freddy Larson. Make sure to connect with me on the old IG at Joey Freddy Larson. You can slip into my DMs. You can ask questions. You can suggest a topic for a future episode, or you can apply to be our next guest. And remember that in each episode of Inside the Audition, we dive deep into the audition experience, advice, strategies, industry insights, inspiring stories from actors, directors, producers, casting directors, film and theater industry pros. So whether you're an emerging actor or maybe you're a longtime professional seasoned vet, Inside the Audition is your backstage pass to audition success. And remember that Inside the Audition is sponsored by the Monologue of the Month Club, which is your ultimate resource for professional and emerging actors who want to attract agents, attract casting directors and producers, build your audience, and ultimately book your next lead role. How does it work? Well, every month you choose a new made-for-you monologue from a curated list delivered to your inbox. Then you join our weekly monologue jams, monthly workshops, you get professional coaching, personalized feedback, and you can collaborate with an international community of growth-minded actors. Every month you'll have a brand new polished monologue that you can use to attract an audience, agents, casting directors. The Monologue of the Month Club is your golden ticket to your next lead role. Ooh, echo. Yes. Now, to start your journey and be on your way to your next lead role, you can head over to www.monologueclub.com. That's monologueclub.com. And just in case you don't know how to spell monologue, it's MONO log, LOGUE, club, CLUB. That's monologueclub.com. You can join the Monologue of the Month Club. Now, today's episode, we got a fun one here. Our guest today is an experienced performer, is a working actor. He's based in Toronto, but he's also a graduate of the Tom Todoroff Conservatory, which was based in New York City. And fun fact, he graduated in my conservatory class, or our conservatory class, E10 for life, baby, where he, in that conservatory, he trained with renowned acting, voice and speech casting coaches, and he's thrilled to be able to provide those teachings to other performers inside Actors Audition Club as one of our coaches. I also works as a professional model. He's a big b-baller. He's a fitness and theater lover. So please welcome Sahil Zirvi to the podcast. Sahil Zirvi.
What a great intro. That was fantastic. Wow.
Thanks,
Thank you,
man.
man. Appreciate that.
Welcome to Inside the Audition. Welcome also, this is a little belated welcome. I've already given you the formal welcome, but welcome. You are now one of our new guest coaches here at Actors Audition Club, where you have the opportunity to work with other actors and help them shoot standout auditions. So we'll get into that a little later, but I want to jump right into it. I want you to tell me about a memorable audition experience and a lesson that you learned. So tell me an audition story and something that you learned from that situation.
Wow, there's so many of those. I don't even know where to start. Okay. Well, there's one audition that I will never forget. It was early on, like 3 years ago when I just started out, and it was like I totally flopped that audition. I made a bad impression. I never heard from this casting director or this job or like that company ever again in these 3 years. So I'll start there. So like 3 years ago, when I was first starting out, I'm still starting out, but when I first started auditioning, um, it was during COVID. It was like in 2021, like right when me and you started class for drama school. And so what was happening was they weren't calling people to the studio, as you know, rightfully so. Everything was through Zoom, callbacks, everything. So this particular company, they wanted me to audition, and the first audition that they wanted me to do was over Zoom. It wasn't a self-tape. Like I was supposed to meet the director and the casting director and the producer in the room over Zoom like this. And so, of course, me not knowing anything about the craft, I didn't know about how to prepare, how to audition, how to like be ready for that opportunity. And I remember it was like 10 minutes up until the time we had to shoot, or like we had to meet for the meeting. And I got sidetracked. I totally lost track of time. I didn't know what was going on. I was slightly nervous. And then all of a sudden, I turned to my computer because it was already set up, and the camera came on, and the director, the caster, they came on screen, and I was just like, "Oh, wait, hey, 1 second, I just gotta prepare for 1 second." And they're like, "Wait, what?" Like they were so confused, and they gave me a minute or yeah, sure, no problem. Take a minute or two, and wow, like it took me like 2, 3 minutes to like catch my breath because I was so nervous and now intimidated at the fact that they saw me not prepared. I asked for extra rehearsing, and then they wanted me to do the scene. So that point came, and I forgot everything, man. I had like two lines. I had a few non-verbal gestures to make, and I forgot all of it. All of it. Like I literally went blank. They were like, okay, look, we gave you a chance. We have to move on to the next person because, like, we don't have that much time. So thanks so much for coming in. They sent my agent an email saying, yo, how can you guys represent this guy? This guy wasn't ready. He's not trained. I can tell this is embarrassing. Please don't submit people like that. That was one story that I vowed to myself that that would be the last time that that would ever happen, because it was embarrassing. It was humiliating. Because I I'm not usually late for things like that. And I just realized how unprepared I truly was, and that was like the start of like, okay, now I'm gonna approach this stuff really differently. I'm really gonna take this serious. And that was the one and only time I was ever late, and I was unprepared for in 3 years. So that's one that was pretty embarrassing. And yes, I haven't heard from them since then. Because usually with a company, they may request you to audition the next year or in 6 months. You may hear from the same companies, but never again. Like I've never. It was Quest Trade.
Right.
The
I
Quest
love
Trade.
that. I love that, man. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
A lot of times people wouldn't share the quote unquote negative ones or the loss or the bomb, but it's like we all learn more from mistakes and from failures than we learn from when everything goes perfect. And that's such a great example of like you knew it. I mean, you're kind of like quote unquote caught with your pants down kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you weren't
Exactly.
wearing pants on Zoom. That was part of it. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's and not only that, you learn the lessons, you recognize it. Like you could have thrown it back to them and be like, oh, like this or that, or you could have complained about the setup, or
No,
but you recognized, oh, if I want to be a professional, this is a whole other league. Um, to not get that experience. So that's great. And that a lot of the times too, people, especially when they're starting to coach and help others, think there's a fallacy that you need to be perfect or you need to be an A-lister, you need to be the absolute best in the world and you've never ever made a mistake ever. But that does actually those people don't make the best coaches. The best coaches are people who have fucked up, had some ups and downs, learned
sure.
from it, because now your experience, you can speak to that experience to someone new and this is where your prep needs to be. This is how it's going to work on Zoom. This is what you need to be ready for. Make sure you're a professional. Make sure you give them a great first impression. Over rehearse it until you know it inside out and backwards and upside down. And so you wake up in the middle of your sleep and do it. Because that experience of just everything disappears, that is kind of a rookie. It's a rookie experience.
For sure, man. Yeah. One for the books for sure. I'll be talking about that years from now, you know. Yeah, so from that, I mean, obviously a devastating experience. Man, just don't underestimate how much you have to prepare for something. You really have to know your line, like know what you're talking about, and just be ready. Be ready for that moment. Don't do anything up and that leads that's leading you up to the audition. Like really just focus on that one meeting that you have. And to be distracted moments before it actually starts, you're setting yourself up for failure. And it's like, just don't do that, man. Stay ready. And once it's over, you can indulge in other activities. But just be ready for the moment and seize the opportunity. That's it. You always want to seize the opportunity because you never know um what that job could do for you.
I
So
love that. Yeah, and I think we've in our training we've heard it like treat those auditions like the on the day on the set performance, like prepare so well that they could say action, they could say cut, and that performance could be the one. Obviously it's not, it's an audition, but prepare like it's opening night in a theater show, or prepare like it's the day, rather than some people have the attitude of like, oh, it's just an audition, or I'm still learning the lines, or I got my sides in
yeah,
hand.
that's the
But
word.
when you're up against 100 other people, someone's
Yeah,
out to you, someone's out prepared you, someone's found beats and moments that you haven't. And it's one of this is one of the craziest industries where like 500 people audition for something and one gets it. There's no second place prize. Maybe you get on the list of the casting director, they give you a call back for something else, and obviously you want to always work, and there should be gains and wins even when you don't book the role, but still only one person books the role.
that's it. That's it. And like who wants it more? Like your preparation will dictate, how they see you in the room, so 100%. I mean, your preparation is everything. And I'm learning that now more than ever because now, more jobs. Like, I'm auditioning much more for different things. And it's like, to do 4 or 5 tapes a week, I mean, you have to know what you're doing to some degree. So it's like prepare, man. Like if you got the opportunity to audition for something, don't take it lightly. If you do, someone like me or someone like you are will be there to seize that job because we want that job. So it's like just do the work, man.
Yeah, I love that, the idea of not taking the opportunity for, because
Yeah,
there's so many actors out there that don't even like they're trying to find an agent,
100%.
and they get an agent and they're not getting the audition. So just the fact that you have that opportunity, and
Yeah.
really treating that opportunity as an opportunity to present your artistry and to present your work and to showcase yourself. Can you tell me, how did you get started into all of this? Like, what was your first foray into acting? Did you do it as a kid? Is this all a later in life thing?
No, not at all. I mean, I had no idea that I would be in this world now. I think there's always moments in your life that lead you to where you are, and I've recently started to like realize that. But it started off like through modeling, to be honest. That was like my start for everything. After I was playing basketball for York and I kind of took a break, um, I started to model. Like a few brands would reach out to me saying, "Hey, we like your look. We want you to be part of our campaign." And then my cousin started a brand called Committee Members. That was huge. I mean, that really put me on the map in terms of like exposure. Like my face was exposed to so many different markets and communities. And then I was working with them for like 3 straight years, and I was in all their lookbooks, all their campaigns. And then from there, I remember I had, so from there, I started to book like real jobs, like real modeling jobs. Like they're paying me to be on set. I was working with like all these different companies, Nomad, Cotton, Simons Canada. And it keeps going on and on. And then I remember this one job I had. I think it was for Simons Canada, I think. But either way, they wanted me to say a line in like this one little, spec commercial that they were shooting. And I remember I was like, whoa, this is interesting. This is a different side of the camera. As a model, your job is to create that relationship with the camera. aesthetically with your look, with your eyes, and just your body language and your energy. That's what it is. And I just remember that experience being for me being like, oh wow, like, this is kind of cool. And then, yo, I got lucky, man. I self-submitted to some agents in Toronto because I had acquired like, a portfolio. I had all this content that I did just for free, like free work that I've done for different companies, or it was paid jobs as well. And then I submitted to like all these top agencies, and then, Bella, shout out to Bella, best agent ever. Um, she reached out and she's like, "Hey, I like this stuff. Call me. I want to talk to you more. I want to learn more about you." And then I signed with her, and then I just started to audition from there, and just kept going up.
Cool. And for those
Yeah,
people who are just listening to the podcast right now, you got to flip over to the video version so that you can see Sahil's tall, dark, and handsomeness here. To see that jawline? Where's the jaw? Let's see the jawline. That thing, look.
jawline.
Yeah, yeah. You could,
Yeah,
you could cut somebody with that jawline. It's very sharp.
it's sweet.
Um, I mean, what was one of your first experiences on set after, like, so you land the agent, and you start auditioning. Tell me about some of your favorite actual projects that you've been on set for.
Oh man, well, 2024 last year was like one of the best years I've ever had in my life. I mean, I got the opportunity to go to Montreal, to go to New York. I was in Slovenia. I mean, I filmed a commercial, a worldwide commercial that's airing right now. We filmed in Slovenia. I was there for 8 nights. That was an incredible. I mean, there were so many last year was a great year, man. But yeah, I was in Slovenia. It was for a commercial we shot out there. It was funny because they called me back 3 times for that job. 3 times, right? So I self-taped for that. They're like, "Hey, we like this. Come to the studio. Do it again." I'm like, "All right." I go to the studio. I do it. I killed it. I felt great. And they're like, "Hey, okay, that was great, but can you come back next week again? We just want to see you one more time." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I go back the next week, and they were like, I do my thing. I do my thing. I feel great. I added a more to it. As they say, do what you did the first time, but also add to it a different dynamic to it. They loved it, and they're like, yeah, you know what? So just come back in a couple of days. We want to see you one more time, and yeah, that'd be highly appreciated. I come back again. I do my thing, and like I was like, this is a lot. Like 3 times for me, that was a lot, man. Because it's like, well, what more do you want to see? It's like just use your imagination at this point. But after that, yeah, they my agent called me, hey, congrats, you booked it, you're leaving in like 2 weeks, get ready, and that was insane. That was incredible for sure.
Yeah, those experiences are the best where you're like,
And
yeah, the driver, you get the plane,
oh my god.
they book the hotel, and just like it's
And
those.
it was like next level. Like I'm talking 5-star hotel. They flew me out premium, which is one level under first class. Like, oh my God, it was like spending money per day. Like it's that like once you get a taste of the extreme, Lars, it's so hard to go back. Like that was an extreme moment for me where I was like, yo, this is really happening right now,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's those next level moments where you're like, "Oh, this now instead of being the outlier moment needs to be the new norm. Like, this is how I want my life to go all the time." Yeah. I
Yo,
just
for
had that
sure.
experience going to Dubai, where I went to Dubai and I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is a whole level of lifestyle, of wealth, of opulence, of concierge and technology and finance and money." And I'm just like, "Oh, this is a whole other level of living here." But yeah, we could talk. I won't talk about Dubai, but I could talk about Dubai for. I should do a full episode just on my trip to Dubai. It was very inspiring.
Good. You should.
So let's get back to you though. I want to talk a little bit about process. So obviously, auditions are the way most of us land those gigs until you're at the point where either you're creating material or getting direct offers. So being able to execute and turn around and shoot a standout audition in a short amount of time under a tight deadline where you present fantastic work is the key to booking these jobs. So an email lands in your inbox. What does Sahil do? What's your operation? What's your SOP, your checklist when you go into audition mode? Tell us about that.
Well, so it's always the same approach, to the tape and to like to the audition in terms of I go through my checklist of what I do. I mean, not everybody had learned the craft of how to audition. Me and you did. We have the formal training, so for me, it's a little bit. I follow a checklist of what I need to do for that particular audition, and as you know, each one is completely different. So, but even though it's different, you still like the mechanics of what you're doing is still the same. So I think for me, it's you receive it, you obviously read it, you read it forwards and backwards, understand it, and yeah, you go through the guideposts. If anyone knows what they are, there's the 12 guideposts that we go through, which is the Todorov technique that we use. And we use the guideposts and just see, okay, who am I talking to? What do I want? What's getting in the way of what I want? And how am I gonna go get it? Right, regardless of what's the obstacle is. And when you ask those questions, I think that's really important because in every scene, as most actors know, well, every actor should know this, but you should always want something in the scene urgently now, right? You always want something. You're fighting to get something, right? You're fighting to get the girl. You're fighting for your parents' approval. You're fighting to get that job, or you're fighting to get your brother to prove that he loves you. Anything in the scene that it requires, that's how you want to approach it, or that's how you want to see it, because when you're fighting for something in the scene, that creates the relationship, it creates the conflict, it creates the importance, and it just shows that okay, you're fighting, you're competing in the scene. But
I love
that's yeah, that's like a start. That's how I would start, like approaching the scene, but it goes deeper than that. But yeah,
we can go a little deeper. The one thing I just do want to highlight is just the importance of who am I talking to and what do I want, aka why am I talking? Like those
yes,
two things often when I'm working with actors, a lot of the times they even haven't asked those basic questions, or maybe they just haven't gone deeper enough where it's like the answer, who am I talking to? I'm talking to my wife. Well,
yeah,
pretty generic wife. I'm talking to the
yeah,
love of my life. I'm talking to my high school sweetheart, and she's also the child. She's the mother of five of my kids, and she's my also my best friend. But right now we're going through a little bit of a bumpy road, and we've had some issues. So she might be leaving, and this might be my last chance to convince her that divorce is the wrong. Like all of a sudden, that is way more informed than I'm talking to my wife.
yeah, yeah,
So how can we infuse it with more love, with more humor? And then what are you actually fighting for? And what's the strongest way that you can be fighting for? People answer those two questions and answer them deeply. And all of a sudden their audition is a lot stronger than
yeah.
a surface level read. Is there anything else that's part of your audition, like rituals or process?
Um, hmm. Yeah, so outside of that, I mean, it's a lot of it's following your instincts as well, like following your gut. I think that really helps. It's really important to follow your intuition because sometimes you may make a choice in the moment instinctively that it's so truthful. Because you're being available to the moment where like us choices come out that are just so authentic and they're so true to the moment that might be a choice that you might want to go with, right? Depending on how you feel. So, but rehearsal is important. You got to rehearse. I mean, I'm talking like a pro up here, but I mean, it's a craft. I mean, this is what you got to do. Yeah, you got to rehearse. I mean, rehearsing is so important. Like, it's so important. I'm shocked at how like I work with actors on stuff and just they don't rehearse. Like they do it like two, three times, and they think they're ready to shoot it, and it's like that may. I mean, that may work sometimes, but I think it's important to really know what you're talking about. Not memorizing, you're not memorizing your lines. When people say that, I cringe at that every time. Like, yeah, I'm memorizing lines. It's like you're not memorizing anything. You're understanding, you're learning, you're learning what the text is, right? It's like you're not memorizing. You want to do it. You're doing the text. Like you're understanding the text, you know the text. So yeah, rehearse though. Like rehearse. Really work on it. Like play different ways. Do it. If I have like two or three lines I have to work on, I'm brushing my teeth. I'm working on the lines. I'm doing push-ups. I'm working on the lines. If I'm at the gym, I'm lifting weights. I'm working on the lines. It could be like anything, right? It's like you want to get the lines in you so that when the camera comes on, it comes out
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I want to highlight two things you said there. It's for our audience. One is just it's part of the reason that I really love acting and I love the craft and I love the continual mastery of it because it is this like it can be a little elusive. It's a bit of a paradox too because it's on the one hand rehearse, 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 and then on the other hand, then when it comes time to performance, let all the rehearsal go so that it needs to be the illusion of this is happening for the first time, which means
yeah,
you need to be present in that moment. Speaking to what you said about be open to your instincts, little happy accidents, things that just
yeah,
where you surprise yourself, where you're like, oh, I wasn't even expecting. I was so like in the now, like it was a real thing I was living in, rather than this is number 500 of saying it exactly the same way, which also speaks to what you said about the dangers of memorization, and
yeah,
that lends to our training with Tom of
yeah.
memorize being a swear word because memorization is all intellectual,
Right.
where
That's right.
actual and being a human is not just your head, it's your heart and it's your hips and it's being an actual full-blown human being. So I love that. But it's the
Mm.
challenge. It's like rehearse so much so you know it inside and out so that then you can let it all go away.
Yeah.
You can't. I find where I get stuck sometimes is in that middle part of rehearsal where if if it's fully improvised, then I feel free. If I've rehearsed it a million times, then I feel free. But if I'm in the middle where I've only rehearsed it a few times,
Mm.
not fully improvising and I'm not fully present, and I'm also not so rehearsed that it's in me. So you get stuck in those traps of
Yeah.
now you're thinking about the lines, which is the last you want to
100%.
be thinking of while you're
Yeah.
supposed to be just being a human being under those circumstances. So that's what makes this craft so challenging is
Sure.
it does demand uh, that amount of rehearsal, and the people who succeed are the people who rehearse the shit out of things. And it's not just rehearsal like saying it the same way over 500 times. It's asking all those questions, doing your text analysis,
Yeah.
different ways, so that you're really playing and then eventually landing on an audition performance. So thank you
Yeah.
for bringing that stuff up. Anything else you want to say about preparation, process, rehearsal?
Um, yeah, just know your stuff, man. Don't walk in the room and get embarrassed and ruin an opportunity that was meant for you because that's just the worst. And I shared my story earlier. I'm telling you, people, if you're not prepared, like that can be the end of, the jobs that you get from that casting director, like they'll remember you. Like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this guy wasted our time. This lady wasted our time just being here, just not knowing what she was saying and what she was doing. Yeah, don't put yourself in that position. Yeah, for sure. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's like I mean, in my intro, I talk about standing out for all the right reasons. You don't want
Yeah.
to stand out for the wrong
Yeah.
reasons. It is first impressions. Now, eventually, that casting director may have you back, but if their first impression of you is an underprepared, or what they might lump in the amateur side of things in a craft where there's so many professionals and trained people who take it so seriously, then uh,
Yeah.
you don't want to
And
get in that amateur pile.
and lastly, it's like it's because it's so meticulous. Like every one little mistake can cost you the job. And I've seen situations where that's happened. Like I was, for example, I'll tell you a quick story. I have a friend who's a casting director at Ground Glass Casting, which is I'm sure you've heard of them.
Yep,
They're
of course.
great. They book a bunch of like network television series and like film whatever. So I just sat in with this one audition because my friend's like, "Hey, come in, come see our experience." And I was like, "Sure." I was flattered to be invited in the room. So they were casting for a play at the Bygone Theater in Toronto, and this this girl came in, and before she came in, all the producers were saying, "Hey, like we like this girl. Like she's coming in, guys. She might be the one. Everyone watch closely, and let's see what she could do." Right. So she comes in the room, and I could see right away why they were looking at her. She aesthetically, she looked great. Her fit was amazing. Hair was done nice, and there was one particular line that she had to say in this little monologue. And I remember the line was, the queen was moving swiftly on our stage, right? That was the line. She came in saying, the queen was moving swiftly on our stage. And then the CD was like, hey, okay, so do it again, but the word is pronounced hour. So think about all the words that have hour in it. Hour, devour, flowers, right? So say our, not our. So she's like, all right, cool. So she comes in and she's not, she's there. And then she says it again. And she goes, the queen was moving swiftly on our stage. She forgot the note again. As soon as it was over, they were like, okay, Katrina, thanks so much. Have a nice day. All right. And I knew that that was it. They were not going to call her back. Right. And they didn't. They went with someone completely different. So it's like, know what you're saying. If you mess up even one word, they will remove you from consideration right then and there for that one word that you mispronounce because they don't have time to teach you. They want someone who's ready to rock tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow, maybe a couple of days. They can't hold your hand and be like, "Hey, can you rehearse more, work on the text a little more, pronounce this properly?" They want someone who's ready to go. So it's like that's just an example of like why you should always be ready. And that taught me a big lesson too. One word. It was three letters. She was
Yeah,
supposed to say hour.
yeah,
Kept saying
yeah.
oh. It's like,
And it
well,
in that example, it really wasn't the mistake initially, it was the inability to incorporate the note. That
take direction.
that was the doom. That's what doomed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
a great example. I mean, it's so specific, and sometimes actors take that for granted. They take their voice and speech and diction, but
100%.
in theater,
100%.
everybody in the audience needs to hear every word. They can't press pause and rewind and be like, "What did she say there?" They're
Yeah, man.
looking around they're like, I'm lost. I don't know what the hell's going on." That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I'm really excited because recently you've joined our team here at Actors Audition Club as one of our coaches. You've been helping people in the studio here in Toronto and also online virtually.
Yeah.
Tell me, first of all, why you wanted to do that. I put out the call on social media that we were looking for new coaches. You were one of the ones who answered. I was pumped when I saw it. But what's exciting you about doing this, and why did you choose to join the team?
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's always auditioning, like a lot, gratefully, I love that. Like, thank God. I mean, I have no idea what else I would be doing with my time, but I'm always auditioning. So I actually have the experience and I've acquired the tools to audition and to do my best in, for a self tape or for an audition. I think that I feel like actors don't have the same tools that I have. They don't have the same understanding. So it's like I want to help out if I can in some capacity. And I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm not like Denzel Washington, but you know, I've been doing this for like 3 years now. So I've acquired some experience and some like a craft where I think it'll be beneficial for actors who are either up and coming, they're already working actors. That's why, and also just the setup that you guys have, I think it's a amazing setup. You guys have the Zoom option, the in studio option. And I was like, wow, this is perfect. Like, why not? And I'm already helping out actors pro bono, on my own time. actors. I have so many friends, who call me all the time saying, "Hey, I need a reader. I need a reader. Can you help me out?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I was like, "Hey, why not, do this for real?"
Yeah, man. Can you you've done a few. We just brought you on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Tell us some experiences and what you like. You don't need to mention any projects or names, but like
yeah,
how do you specifically help an actor, or what's your mindset in okay, because our job is make oh hang on one second.
yeah.
Am I back? Yeah. You hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Why am I not hearing you? Keep talking.
Yep, I can hear
Hey,
you.
it's great. So, what I was saying is, as a coach, it's not our job to help them reach perfection. We don't
Yeah,
be the be all and end all. It's just
yeah,
if an actor comes in here and I'm making a motion with my hand, and we want to get them to here, and I'm making the motion of a little higher. So it's how can we unlock something? How can we help them find a moment that maybe they didn't see, something in the text analysis? Can we help
yeah.
them humor, some love? Can we help them with a moment before, with a button? Can we help them with something physical? What's your outlook when you're working with an actor? How do you help them?
Yeah, I mean, it's all those things. I mean, and it's just it depends on the coach, right? Like the coach has a big deal on how the audition will go because it's our job to see things that the actor doesn't see, right? It's our job to see and to honestly also like yeah, to help them make the strongest choice for that particular piece of work. And I think yeah, for me, it depends on how prepared the actor is, right? With the Actors Audition Club, thankfully, everyone is always 100% prepared. So in that case, I want to see what choices they already have, how they're seeing this scene, how they want to go about this particular tape. So I take that in consideration first because it's their job. They want to book it. They may have an idea of what they want to do, and that's important. So once I hear them out and I understand what direction they want to go, yeah, we'll do that. And then I think it's important to just really be present with them, right? Like be in the room with them, not just physically. Like you really want to follow what they're doing and see how it could be stronger. And that takes skill. That takes doing auditions over and over and over again, either as an actor or as a reader. So I think that's the most important thing. Like you really have to be present in the room with the other talent that's there because your job is to help them book that role. And it's like you want to find things that they potentially may not have seen. And if you can do that, that's a gratifying feeling because they'll let you know, "Oh, wow, I didn't think of that. Oh, that's interesting." You know? So I think that's important. That's one of the most important things. But it is deeper than that as well. But I think that's the biggest takeaway. Like be present to what you're saying and be available to the moment as much as they are. Because if you're not, if you're coming in with, oh yeah, I'll make him do it like this. He should probably do it like this. I mean, I don't know how effective that is, as opposed to being more open and just available, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's their audition, it's their choices, and
Right.
so it's how do we unlock things that they bring to the table that are already unique to them versus I think you should do it this way. Like I'm not the director
Yeah.
of the show or the director of the thing. I'm just helping them showcase as much of themselves in a positive way and as a strong way in the audition so that they can increase their chances of booking the role. But that's not a right or wrong. It's like, our training, it's not right or wrong, it's weak or strong. And which clearly you can look at two versions and be like, oh, this second version is stronger. Is it right or wrong? Is it what quote unquote they want? Who the hell knows? But you can watch
Sure.
something with a trained eye and be like, that take is stronger than
Longer.
this
Yeah.
take. It does a better job of
Yeah.
telling the story, or it's a stronger moment. Love that. Anything else? Any other advice
Um,
to auditioning actors? Any other things that you're excited and looking forward to helping them with?
I'm just so it's so interesting for me to just see how they prepare. I love seeing what actors how they think about their actual audition. You know, because for me, I'm always auditioning myself. So it's like I want to get into the minds of other actors as well and see how they approach it. And that for me teaches me so much, like so much. Like now I sort of understand how to work in terms of for my own acting craft. Took me a while to get to this point, but I have, you know, a system that I follow. And it's like it's cool to see what other actors do because that can teach you like what
Right.
like they may say something or they may talk about a particular rehearsal technique that you may not have known, and then you can incorporate that into your craft and just things like that. But also just the impact. I mean, like the last person I coached with the club, like he was so grateful. Like he was like, "Oh my God, I didn't see that choice. That was a great choice that
Right.
you put in. Like thanks for making that choice." I was like, "Yeah, man, no problem. That's why I'm here." But that's a good feeling too. I really like that when they see the value in what you have to offer.
Yeah, that's huge, and really the importance of coaching. I want to make this clear to all of our listeners. Is some again, sometimes people are like, "I can't pay to audition." Well, you're not paying to audition. You're paying for insight and coaching outside your own brain. And what coaching
Yeah,
is in any industry, doesn't matter whether it's sports or business or acting. Coaches help you see your blind spots. They help you see
yeah,
things that you didn't see. It's the idea of 1 + 1 = 3. A collaborative mind is going to create things that one person couldn't create on their own. So when you have that outside eye, especially when it's someone who's trained, not only as a trained actor, but they're training as a coach and improving their coaching skills, that's so different than your untrained neighbor or your spouse or your uncle, your like I just this is my plea to actors out there, and don't listen to this if you don't want to listen to this and just let other people book the roles. But if you're always relying on someone who is untrained, and if you're taking any kind of notes from someone who has no acting training, no directorial training, no storytelling training, I think you're leaving potentially a lot on the table. You're leaving so much on the table. I'm worried about the table. The table might fall down and the legs are going to
yeah,
collapse versus when you work with someone who's like if your spouse is a trained actor, then great, keep doing that. However, sometimes the issue is, am I getting a note here? Is this an actor or director note, or is this a boyfriend girlfriend wife husband note that I'm getting? So sometimes even when they are a trained actor, it's tough to decipher. But
yeah,
just the importance of investing, and again, to invest in a coach for an audition, you're not paying to audition, you're paying and investing in yourself to unlock things in yourself, much in the same way that would you get better results when you go to the gym and you have a trainer pushing you a little harder and giving you that the
yeah,
actual technique and the proper way to do things biomechanically,
yeah.
or do you get better results when you just do it on your own and you watch some free YouTube videos?
Completely.
Everybody can do that. So that's why we exist at Actors Audition Club. That's why we've
Yeah,
since 2017 helped. I think we're up to like nearly 6,000 auditions that we've helped run, helping actors book lead roles in TV, film, theater,
yeah,
voiceover, commercials, all those things. So,
yeah.
any other final words for our actors out there?
Final words for them.
Some serve, some inspiration. By the
Oh
way,
wow.
I just want to say I love your last name. It's one of my favorite your whole name. Sahil Zirvi, Sahil Zirvi. I love in my head, you don't know this maybe, but in my head, I'm always saying the Zervster, the Zervinator, Zervy Zerv.
That's so funny. Yeah, man, Zervi. It's like, yeah, it's actually our family is the only family who has that last name. And to be honest, it's because my grandfather, he was a singer in Punjab, where I'm from, a classical singer, and he's from a city called Zira, Zira. So they just call him, the Zervi guy is here. Like, so like it just became like a thing. So that's how we got that name. But anyways, um, advice for actors. That's so funny.
Yeah, tips, inspiration, and the
Yeah.
good way to frame it. What
Uh,
would you tell your younger self to knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning every day. I don't know everything. You know, I love this craft so much, so I'm still working and learning. But I would just say, just, you know, make sure you love it. Make sure you love it. There's a lot of rejection, man. Another day, another rejection. So make sure you love it because it's not easy in terms of how they make you feel. You may think you're right for something and you killed it, you smashed it in the room, but they didn't pick you over the smallest detail, and you have to be okay with that. So I think that's the biggest thing. If you're good with that, like that's gonna help you a lot. But it took me like a year to learn that. Like the first year, I was like, damn, I'm not book. If you stay with it and like you believe in yourself and you love the craft, you love auditioning, then it gets more rewarding.
Well said. All right, we're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna bring this podcast ship back into harbor here. I want to thank Sahil Zirvi for joining us today, sharing his unique audition experience and his journey and valuable insights with us. Make sure you can connect with Sahil. Is Instagram the best place?
Yeah, for sure.
That's s.zirvi. That's s.z or z, depending on where you are. Zirvi. Zervi. We'll also link it up in the show notes. If you are a professional or emerging film and theater actor, maybe you're a director, a casting director, a producer making bold moves in the industry, we do interview industry pros at every stage in their journey. So you can share your practical tips, your wisdom, your inspiration, and you can actually apply to be a guest on a future episode by visiting insidetheaudition.com. Once again, that's insidetheaudition.com. And one more time, I want to just really reiterate that mastering powerful monologues is the most effective way to showcase your talent, to attract audiences, to attract agents, casting directors, and ultimately land your next lead role. And you can get started with the Monologue of the Month Club by going to monologueclub.com. All the information on how to start there. And remember that every single audition is an opportunity to showcase your unique talent to the world, and it may land you your next life-changing role. So when you want professional coaching available 7 days a week from anywhere in the world, you can visit actorsauditionclub.com. Sahil is one of our coaches. I'm one of the coaches. We've got a whole team of coaches pretty much on standby to help you with your TV, film, commercials, voiceovers, theater roles. We'll help you shoot a standout audition in less time and ultimately book your next lead role. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Inside the Audition. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.